I hope that's recording. Better be. Right, Modrax shocks. That's the topic today. These are the fellas I'm talking about. Very skinny, very slim. We'll get another shock to show you. Regular shock. You all recognise these. Just a 39mm regular oil-filled Enduro shock. Yeah. By comparison, a lot slimmer, less stuff to get in the way. These ones will stretch out to 50 and compress to 50. Stretch out to 50 and compress to about 35 or something. You can see how smooth these are, and that these ones are not smooth at all. I don't know if you can see that rod end bobbling around there. Okay, it does the same thing when you pull it. You can see that bobble around. You can hear it. You can hear it vibrate madly. The reason is there's only one spring here. All shocks only come with one spring. It goes from the bottom perch down here, holds the spring, right up to where your preload collar is. Most shocks come with some kind of preload collar. One spring. It's not the case with these. With these, you've got a piston that sits about mid-travel. Below the piston, to the bottom of the shock body is a spring, and above the piston to the shock body at the top is another spring, which is why it sits mid-travel. So it sits there. So both springs have balanced themselves out, that the shock piston is sitting roughly in the middle here somewhere. Now what I've done is, look at that thing for a minute. I'll show you on this rig. I've got 50mm shocks at the back. I've got 40mm at the front. Yeah, they come in two sizes now. I've mixed and matched and made my own colours to go with my gold and blues. I'm quite stoked with how this thing's come out. What I did for the rear, I abandoned all of the spring at the top because I want this to sit nice and flat. Basically, I've got the longest spring that comes in the pack at the bottom half of the shock body. Piston sits on top of that, and then inside the spring I have packed it with this stuff. Okay, it's Rock Passion shock ring O-grease, shock O-ring grease. Bloody dyslexia. Don't freak out at the colour, she's groovy looking stuff. But where those little holes are is where I was stabbing the springs. I bought a few different sets. So what you're looking for is, when you open these, because you can just open them real easy because you're a Kiwi, you get this little bag. In this little bag you can see different variety of springs. Okay, all sorts of different springs in there. Just mix and match, but the one thing you want to hold on to is this thing. Tiniest little O-ring I've ever seen in my life. And what that O-ring is for is the opposite side of the capture point on the pillow ball. So you've got the fat side that won't go through, obviously, and then you've got the skinny side which will go through, with a nice little black O-ring on there to stop it from falling out. Great, wonderful. Repurpose that little O-ring. So we're going to take this bouncy shock, alright, and we're going to turn it into this. Oh, no bounce. Oh, do you see how plush it is? Quiet, plush, out of the way. I hope you guys can see this. So we'll fully extend these. They do have a bit of kickback on them. You see it wants to go back up a little bit. They don't want to drop out as far, because on the back here I've got two smaller springs at the bottom half, still nothing at the top. I don't put anything at the top because I don't want my shocks out. I want my shocks compressed. I want my shocks compressed front and rear. That's the best way to go LCG. When the wheels have to articulate, I just want one side to drop out like that. Okay? That's how I want my rig to act. And I want it to be subtle. Like this, subtle. Yes. You want to know how to do that? I'll do it one more time so you can see what's going on. Just watch. There's no weight on this yet, so it will act faster than this when I get the whole rig finished. But just watch for the last little bit of movement. It's just how plush this thing is. So what you're going to do, you're going to take your bouncy shock, Right? Your bouncy shock, undo the top. Undo the top. Don't preload any of these springs when you don't have your cap on, because these are just now bullets. I preload anything and then release it too fast, it's going to go firing everywhere. But you can see a spring. This is the bottom. Pull the spring out. There's the piston. You can see it down in there. Piston's down in there. I'm now going to remove the rod end. See you later, rod end. So we've got one above spring. Here comes the below spring. I'll just tip it up. You can see the piston now. That piston. And you can see a little spring at the bottom. So I'm going to keep the orientation the same, so I don't want to screw it up. I want this shock to perform just like the other shock. So I'm going to have to take this tiny little O-ring, on a tiny little shock shaft, and I'm going to slide it all the way up till it sits under the piston. The reason I need this is to give it consistency. This is so thin, this is going to push up against the walls. After a couple of cycles, what's going to happen is if it's dry, you're going to wipe rubber, physical rubber is going to wipe onto this wall, and it's going to give it a sticky, horrible. You need it to be nice and smooth and plush. So we're going to dump this back in here. But before we do, we're going to preload our springs. I'm calling it preloading the spring anyway. I'm literally looking for about maybe, I don't know, 3-4 mil. That's plenty. It's ample. It's heaps actually. Does this go? Oh, this is the top spring. Cool. Top spring done. We want the bottom spring done. So I'll stab that into there. So what can you use if you don't have this stuff? I would say the viscosity, it's very, very slippery stuff, but it does have the viscosity of, let's say, Vaseline or petroleum jelly, whatever you want to call it. So I'm just literally going to stab this straight onto the shock shaft, push it all the way up there. Happy days. I'm then going to drop this back into the shock body. It won't go all the way down to the bottom because obviously it's got some restriction in there now. I'm going to take the other spring, throw that into the top, and push everything out the bottom. Yeehaw. Do you notice how I don't have any leaks? You might see green on the thread at the end of the shaft, and you might see some on my fingers, but look at that nice silver edge all the way around the shaft. Come on, the focus is terrible today. We'll cycle it a bit. Look how nothing's coming out. It's nice. It's already worked. I can see it's already worked. It's already done its job. One plus shock coming right up. Now, of course, you change the amounts that you put in. You could really go hard and start weighing how much grease goes in each one. I'm not that fussy. And then a few cycles just to get everything where it's... Oh my God. Look at this. It was a little bit too... Look at this, though. You can slow things right down, man. Now, as far as travel, you will lose a little bit of travel. You will. It's inevitable. You've got a 1mm O-ring underneath your piston, so the drop out is going to be reduced by about a mil. So what? They're 50mm, man. It's already too long. Who cares? Look at this. Look how slow this is. So I'm going to have to open this up, maybe pull a bit more out. We'll just cycle it a bit. Let's see if we can push some out. Oh yeah, we're pushing some out. Alright, no, actually still too much. Oh, look at that. But if you want the smoothest shocks on the planet that stay out of the way, you know, tight steering, I don't think my wheel is ever going to get near that shock. I just don't think it is. It'll be close, but you know, tucked away, low profile. And yeah, look at that. Look at that deliberate movement. So good. So good. So you can turn a Modrax 40 or 50 from springy, bouncy. Okay, listen. You can turn it from that to just however plush you want it. That plush, or maybe you want it a bit more spring, but you just want to take that bounce out of it. It's all up to you. Very cheap shocks, in 5 colours, 2 sizes. Have at it. Oh, so much. Right, happy crawling. Love your family, love the pets, be kind to everyone. Hopefully it reciprocates. So.